Welcome to Rogers Center. We are indoors once again tonight. It is the Sportsnet Jays Care Auction. Broadcast auction tonight, hosted by Ivanka Osmak. Lots going on at the ballpark. Blue Jays need a win, Pat. It's been a rough couple of days for them here against Tampa Bay.
Well, they got to slow down the Tampa Bay Rays. They have been red hot the first couple of games in this series, and the guy who is his task is to slow down the Tampa Bay Rays. It's R.A. Dickey. Now, R.A. has been a slow starter in his career, in his Blue Jay career. He's 13 games under 500 the first half of the season. But if you watch him, he gets better as the season goes along. He has been tinkering, he has been working on his delivery, and the last time out he was sensational. Longest outing of the season, highest pitch count of the season, tossed 8 scoreless innings for the 4th time as a Blue Jay. He held Tampa Bay to 3 earned runs or fewer in each of his last 4 starts, so this could be a good matchup. Blue Jays desperate for a W.
R.A. Dickey beat the Tampa Bay Rays in his first start of the season down in St. Petersburg. Take a look at the lineup for Kevin Cash. They're a game under 500, third in the American League East. In the 3 spot, a familiar face for the Toronto Blue Jays. Evan Longoria, the third baseman, he has hit well against R.A. Dickey. He's 12 for 46 with 7 extra base hits. He's got a pair of home runs among those numbers, and no one enjoys hitting here at Rogers Center as much as Desmond Jennings. Best career numbers away from Tropicana Field right here at Rogers Center, a .315 average, including 8 home runs on the road. He absolutely loves hitting in this ballpark.
And this lineup has been sensational the last couple of days. 17 hits in both games, so R.A. Dickey's got his work cut out for him tonight.
Brandon Guyer, the leadoff man, he is the DH tonight. Guyer against Dickey is 3 for 12. R.A.'s coming off a terrific start, as Pat mentioned. 3 hits over 8 innings against the Texas Rangers. His second win of the season. Here's the first pitch of the game. He's in there for a strike, and we are underway. Guyer batting .317, getting a lot more regular at-bats, and he has flourished with irregular work.
He has really been a spark plug at the top of that lineup since Logan Forsythe went out with the injury. He's got some speed, picked up his first stolen base of the season in last night's ball game. He's always been a tough out against the Blue Jays. He might not have great numbers against the Jays in his career, but he's always been a very tough out.
Guyer has always been kind of a 4th outfielder, but now he's getting a little extra playing time, and his batting average reflects that. 1-2. Another foul back.
Well, he is right on top of the plate against R.A. Dickey, almost challenging him to throw the ball over the plate. From our vantage point from up here, Buck, I mean, he is right over that inside corner with his hands.
You saw Dickey with a little hesitation, Pat. That's something he introduced last time out, and it proved to be very effective.
He was working, like we say, he's always tinkering. He's always trying to find something that will help him in between starts. The last time the Blue Jays were on the road trip in San Francisco. And there's Guyer bending out of the way of that one. He was working on hesitating and quick pitching. Josh Thole went out there and said, "What was that?" He goes, "I don't know. I just tried a quick pitch, and it really sped up his arm, and it got the ball up there quicker. It really messed with the timing of the hitters, and it certainly worked against the the Texas Rangers."
Guyer strikes out, first out of the ball game. Let's check out the defense behind R.A. Dickey. In the outfield, regular lineup: Saunders, Pilar, and Bautista. Across the diamond from left to right, Jimmy Paredes making his first start with the Blue Jays. Tulowitzki and Goins up the middle. Smoke at first, and Josh Thole making his 11th start behind the plate.
Josh Donaldson, as you saw from that lineup card, that he is not in the lineup today. DeMarlo Hale was saying that he's going to get a scheduled off day. Jimmy Paredes will get his first start as a Blue Jay in the field at third base.
Paredes is 27 years old. The Blue Jays just picked him up on Monday off the waiver wire from Baltimore. Blue Jays have seen Paredes in the past. He's performed well against them, so now he is in a Blue Jays uniform.
Third base, second base. He can play some outfield if you have to. And against R.A. Dickey, who is a fly ball type of pitcher, I think outfield is more important than third base. Paredes will get the start today with Josh Donaldson getting the night off.
Dickey with a 2-2 count on Taylor Motter. Motter is the shortstop. He picked up his first big league hit on Monday night, and last night his first big league home run, a pinch hit home run. 2-2 pitch.
He's an interesting guy. He had a good year last year in AAA for the Tampa Bay Rays and said, I want to go play winter ball. So he spent the offseason last year after the 2015 season playing winter ball in Venezuela. Said, I'm not the kind of guy that sits around. I need to go out there and just play baseball. Not a high draft pick. Wasn't really a high prospect in their system, but he went out there and played and opened up some eyes.
3-2 pitch. Bounced on the ground, foul once again. Winter ball is a great place for young players to really develop. It's probably a tick above AAA. Not quite major league caliber, but at the same time, especially in Venezuela and the Dominican Republic, you get a lot of major leaguers playing winter ball, and it's a great opportunity to gain some more experience. Dickey with a pair of strikeouts to start the game.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Tim Leeper back on the bench. He served his one-game suspension last night. Evan Longoria continues to hit well against R.A. Dickey. Jumped on that first pitch. That's his 13th career hit against the knuckleballer. A 2-out single.
A couple of home runs in his career versus R.A. Dickey. You can see how he grabs that ball. That thing isn't moving at all. But Longoria, Evan's got great hand-eye coordination. He's a great fielder at third base because of that. And you can see that concentration, how his head stayed right on that ball, and he banged it right back through the middle.
Steven Souza Jr. has moved up to the cleanup spot tonight. He goes after that first pitch. Souza is 3 for 8 with a home run against R.A. Dickey. Last year was his first full season in the American League.
You can find some holes in his swing, and he was out here earlier today practicing off a little baseball. That helps him to keep his eye on the ball just a little bit more.
I asked about that drill, and he has glasses that strobe. They're Oakley strobe glasses, and it helps him focus on the baseball. They use a little tiny orange baseball. 1-2, 2 down. Got a piece of it. Derek Shelton, the hitting coach for the Rays, said that Steven Souza Jr. had that drill with him when he was in Washington, and he brought it over here. It's not something they do as a team, but he does it as an individual, and so far so good.
Yeah, he is going to be a good hitter. He's got 8 home runs and 17 driven in. Outstanding power.
Paredes at third, goes to second for the force out. Good inning for R.A. Dickey. A 2-out single and nothing more. Jimmy Paredes helping him out at third. the Rays off the scoreboard in the first inning. DeMarlo Hale is the acting manager. John Gibbons serving game 2 of his 3-game suspension. Let's take a look at the lineup. Michael Saunders top of the order. In the cleanup spot is Justin Smoke. He has earned the right to hit cleanup after his last 15 games, batting .378 with 6 extra base hits. And then down in the 7th spot, Kevin Pillar. He is one of the only Jays that's hit anything against Jake Odorizzi. 4th and 3rd chain with 3 extra base hits, so he'll try to continue to swing that good bat against the Rays righty.
9th start of the season for Jake Odorizzi. He is winless with 6 no decisions. He has equaled the 2nd longest winless start to a season in Rays history. Tanya Sturtz went 15 consecutive starts to begin a season. 2 starts versus the Blue Jays this season. He's only given up 2 earned runs, but just doesn't have much to show for it because the team can't score him runs.
Michael Saunders leading off tonight. This is an interesting defensive alignment with Saunders, the lefty, batting against Odorizzi. Longoria, the sole defender, on the 3rd base side of second. But he's not even at the shortstop position, but with each pitch he's wandering farther and farther away from the 3rd base foul line.
And backing up just a little bit, we have seen Michael Saunders drop down bunts in this situation against 3rd baseman who play back.
This popped up. That's going to be into the seats, out of play.
You know, and all it does, it takes one. Just do it one time that you are willing to drop a bunt down. When you see teams play in these exaggerated shifts like this, drop one bunt down, the word's going to spread like wildfire, and you'll straighten out your defense.
Caught the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now Longoria will go deep to the shortstop position with the threat of the bunt no longer. With 2 strikes, and there's a hot shot. Taylor Motter right there. Shortstop makes the play. Tampa Bay has really tightened up their defense of late. They've lost their 2nd baseman, Logan Forsythe. He's on the DL. Jennings, Kiermaier, and Souza, they can all run well in the outfield. And then Longoria, Motter on the left side, Beckham and Morrison on the right side. And the catcher for the first time in this series is Hank Conger.
Taylor Motter played 6 different positions last year, mostly 3rd base and right field. He played shortstop, 2nd base, center field, and left field also. He models his game after another super sub, Ben Zobrist, who played for these Tampa Bay Rays. Motter has played in all 3 games in this series. Tonight, he's at shortstop.
Jose Bautista batting in the 2-hole tonight. Josh Donaldson is out, as Pat mentioned, just getting the night off. So Bautista is moved up, and the lineup just moves up a spot.
This isn't unfamiliar for Jose Bautista. He has hit 2nd before. He's also hit leadoff for the Blue Jays. Remember when he first came over here from Pittsburgh?
He was a leadoff hitter. Nobody was really sure what they had in Bautista, but they quickly found out.
50 bombs later. Put him in that number 3 spot.
2-1 off the outside edge. Odorizzi will work the righties away. He's not going to challenge too many of these power hitters with the inner half. Going to stay away with that fastball, slider, and the split.
He's been using his curveball just a little bit more.
Bautista hits a hot shot to Longoria. Tough to get it past him. 2 down.
Save during Canada's Color Expert Sale. Only at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Dinner time here at Rogers Center. Fans enjoying a little snack before they take their seat. 2 outs. Edwin Encarnacion. He had a mighty cut at that first pitch, and Odorizzi might have missed his spot.
Yeah, and it looked like Edwin might have slipped a little bit in the box. They water it down before the ball game to get ready for it. It's just not warm enough to dry it here in the first inning, and that front foot slipped just a little bit. I was talking to a scout tonight about the Blue Jays lineup, and the scout told me, he said the whole key is this man right here, Edwin Encarnacion. For the last few years, he has been their best hitter. And if Bautista doesn't drive in a run, it's normally been Edwin driving in those runs. But right now, he's not been very consistent at the plate. They have pitched away from him. That's what he has done in the last 10 games, 14 strikeouts. They've stayed away from him.
Another pitch away, a high fly ball to right. Encarnacion's retired on the fly ball to right. 3 up, 3 down for Odorizzi. We played an inning. There's no score here at Rogers Center.
It's the 8th annual Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD, and look who's showing up to man the phones, pulling double duty tonight. Carolyn and Carly, as well as Jackie. So call in if you want to place a bid on some of the amazing experiences that you can bid on tonight. I'm really surprised, though, that the Take the Field, there's no bidder yet. That's a big ticket item. It's going for $10,000 minimum bid. However, you get to bring 19 friends to the field at the Rogers Center and play a little ball. So if you want to know what it's like to hit a home run like Jose Bautista or throw from third to first like Josh Donaldson, this is for you. You get to look like a player and also eat like a player. Pretty cool stuff. Buck, Pat?
Thank you very much, Ivanka. That is a great item, and you have a chance to play for managers Jesse Barfield and Lloyd Moseby as well. R.A. Dickey throws a first pitch strike to Logan Morrison. I got an idea, Ivanka, for that prize. I think if someone was having a wedding and you want to have a bachelor party, what a great way to have a bachelor party. You get 20 of your friends, come down here, play a baseball game, and celebrate your upcoming wedding.
And then go out afterwards?
Perfect setup.
You'd be just like a ball player.
And I can promise you, you will have the time of your life with Jesse Barfield and Lloyd Moseby. They are two terrific guys that love baseball, and they'll get on you. Don't make a mistake.
Oh, shake.
But you'll have a great time.
He'd be all over you. That's a great idea. So, guys, let's go. Pony up.
Inside. Ball, it's 1-2 now to Logan Morrison. Also, how about a graduation gift? Somebody's getting ready to graduate from college. Want to make them a nice gift? Don't give them a car. Give them a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to come here to Rogers Center and play baseball with a couple of former Blue Jays. Downstairs, 2-2.
Tell you what, R.A. Dickey's knuckleball is pretty good tonight. It's hard. We've seen some 80s already here in the first couple of innings of this game, and when he's throwing that knuckleball at 80 miles an hour, he's going to get some movement on it.
That one moved too much down and away. It's a full count after Dickey was ahead 0-2. Logan Morrison with his first 2 RBIs of the season in last night's game. Little looper into center, and that's going to drop. A little Texas leaguer for Logan Morrison.
It's his 4th hit in this series. 4 for 7 now. He fought back from 0-2. RA thought he had him struck out on that inside knuckleball. Didn't get the call. Logan Morrison fought that one off for a hit. Everything that Tampa Bay has swung at this series, they have found a hole.
Especially in last night's game. They had a lot of seeing eye base hits. And yeah, they got 17 of them, but not all of them were hard hit balls. This is Desmond Jennings, and we mentioned Jennings' career numbers here at Rogers Center. He's a .315 hitter here. He has 39 hits and 124 at bats batting at Rogers Center. Ground ball. Goins. Second for one. Back to first. Not in time. Tough to double up Desmond Jennings. Goins made a nice play to get the lead runner Morrison at second, but can't turn two.
What a play by Goins. Not just getting to the ball and handling it, but giving a good feed. Watch this. That's a tough play and a good feed. Right on target for Tulowitzki, but the throw pulls smoke off the bag. I mean, you take those plays for granted, don't you, after you watch them? But then you realize how tough they are to make, like Goins did.
Tulowitzki's throw, I think it was going to be late no matter what, but it was a little off line. It's Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder. Kiermaier was 3 for 4 in a game last night, and he scored 3 runs. Now Tampa Bay has taken a totally different approach to R.A. Dickey than we've seen in these first 2 ball games. They were swinging at everything early, but they want to wait Dickey out.
They have switched from year to year, haven't they? One year we faced Tampa Bay and RA throw the ball. They swung at everything. Another time they went up there and they were taking a lot of pitches, almost forcing him to throw the knuckleball over. And if he didn't, they would throw a fastball. Tonight, a little bit more patient.
Jennings doesn't run as much as he did when he first came to the big leagues. He is 2 for 2 in stolen bases. He had knee problems.
Knee injuries. He's had some leg problems over the years, but this might be a time to start the runner.
A little late diving back to first that time.
Josh Tolley's done a good job this year throwing from behind the plate. 3 for 9, 33%. Throwing out base runners.
Kiermaier fouls it straight back. It's now 2-2. R.A. very aware of the challenges for the catcher with a runner at first. Not only the difficulty of catching it initially, then you got to make the transfer and throw.
He hasn't allowed a stolen base over his last 24 starts. He does a really good job of keeping the runners close with a quick move over to first base. Altering his hold patterns, holding the ball a long time or quick pitching, and then he gets rid of the ball very quickly.
Kiermaier strikes out. Third strikeout of the game for R.A.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Rogers 4K TV. Get closer to the action with 4 times the resolution of HD alone.
Two outs. Hank Conger, the catcher, batting 182. Upstairs. Conger was brought over in an attempt to bolster the offense, but he hasn't gotten on track yet. He has just an RBI, no extra base hits.
Just 8 hits in 44 at bats this season. He's got one thing on his mind right here. With the runner at first base and 2 outs, you're thinking about trying to score that runner from first with a double.
Big swing and a miss. It's 1-2. So now they're going to switch gears without the possibility of a bunt. Paredes goes on the second base side of the bag.
And that's not foreign to Jimmy Paredes. He has played some second base. He was in at third, and you can see Ryan Goins deep in the outfield. Troy Tulowitzki in a more common position at shortstop. If there is a base hit to right field, somebody's got to get to third base. Got to keep reminding your infielders on these shift plays who's taking what base.
Full count now. There are 2 outs. So Desmond Jennings will get a running start. Number 9 hitter Tim Beckham is on deck if Conker can keep the inning alive. Louis Rivera reminding the infielders, if he's running on the pitch, you got to hustle to get to third. No matter what the situation. Ball 4, you have a tendency to drop your head, and if Jennings is running full out, it'll be a foot race.
Keep your head up. It's interesting, in spring training, you usually do cutoffs and relays. The last couple of years, we've seen teams work on where to go out of these shift positions.
Conker takes ball 4, and Tulowitzki is heading toward third. It's the guard against Jennings, taking advantage of that shift.
Remember how easy it used to be? Okay, man on first, double into the gap in right center field. Well, now you might have a runner at first base, and you've got 3 infielders on the right side. Now a double into the gap in right center field. Where does everybody go? It's a whole new ball game out of those shifts.
And the pitcher becomes involved, and he becomes more important in that shift with the lefty. He's got to get to third base. So Tim Beckham, the number 9 hitter. Beckham hit his first home run of the season here on Monday night. Rays hit 4 home runs in that game Monday, one off their season high. That gets away from Tolley, goes back to the screen. The runners will move up.
Guess who is tied with the Baltimore Orioles heading into play in home runs in the American League?
It's not the Blue Jays.
Not the Blue Jays. I think it's mission accomplished for the Tampa Bay Rays. That knuckleball right there gets away from Tolley, just off of his glove, and the runners will move up. They set out to pick up some power in the offseason. I think mission accomplished. They did that.
Ball and a strike, 2 outs. There's a good knuckleball, and Beckham couldn't believe that one moved as much as it did. Dickey's had a good knuckler lately.
Yes, he has, and he's been able to keep it in the strike zone. Josh Tolley, what a job he did on that one to stay with it. This is where you've got to have a lot of confidence in your catcher that you're going to uncork one of those hard knuckleballs, that he's going to catch it.
Beckham strikes out. Good job by Dickey. He struck out 4 through 2 innings to keep it scoreless.
whole lot, but wouldn't you like to find out? Now you can. Currently, someone has put in a bid for $1,900 to get a tour of the broadcast truck, a tour of Tim and Sid's studio, meet Buck and Pat, which I know will drive up the price immensely. $1,900, I'm surprised it's not priceless. And also go to a game this season with Tim, Sid, Ken Reed, and myself. What do you say, Buck and Pat?
You can't ask for more, Ivanka, and I'd like to sit with you and Ken Reed and watch the ball game. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Why don't you go down there and bring her up here and let her do the game for a while? Now, that would be fun. The game, they can pick any game they want to go to in that broadcast experience. Remember, the Kansas City Royals are coming to town in July. It's always fun.
Lots of great opportunities, and certainly the opportunity to sit in a TV truck and watch what's going on. That is really interesting, all of the inner workings of a TV broadcast. 0-1 to Justin Smoak. There's strike 2. Smoak batting .293 for the season. Jake Odorizzi ahead of him quickly, 0-2.
Looks like he is hitting his spots. Odorizzi in his last start, that was against Oakland. He ran into some trouble in the first inning. He had a 41-pitch first inning, and what really set him back was the second batter of the inning. He had a 14-pitch at bat to Billy Burns. That really wore him down. He gave up a couple of home runs, but then he settled in. In that game against Oakland, he was only able to go 4 innings because he threw so many pitches, 97 of them in 4 innings.
1-2. Splitter is tapped foul. I spoke to Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, prior to this game tonight, and he said we're not pitching real well right now. He said we're not making a lot of quality pitches, and we're throwing too many pitches early in the game. He said we got some guys that have had success. They're just really trying to find their groove mechanically. Odorizzi, as you mentioned, just 4 innings, and Chris Archer, he had some problems early in that game, but pitched around him. And
one of the problems that Odorizzi has had over the years, it's a lot like Jay Happ. A lot of foul balls that really drive up pitch counts and get him out of the ball game. You know, in the 5th inning or the 6th inning.
Smoak taps it toward the mound. Odorizzi will flip to Morrison, 1 down.
You know, when his stuff suggests that he's got 7 or 8 innings in him, because there's no question he's got outstanding stuff. Good fastball, slider, curveball, and a split changeup that was taught to him by Alex Cobb.
Troy Tulowitzki hitting right at 200. He's been swinging the bat much better of late. He's had a string of 7 good games. He drives this one deep to center. Kiermaier is back, and he runs it down. Boy, Tulowitzki gave it a ride, but Tulowitzki flies out to Kevin Kiermaier, and Kiermaier's got terrific instincts in center.
If you're going to hit it over his head, you better hit it out of the ballpark, because if it stays in here, chances are he's going to run it down. He's got great speed and great reactions in center. You can see him at the top of your screen. Watch how quickly he recognizes where this ball is, runs right to it. He's got some fast twitch muscles, doesn't he, in those legs? Quick.
Covers a lot of ground. 2 of the best center fielders in baseball playing in this game tonight. This is Jimmy Paredes making his first start with the Blue Jays. He got a pinch hit appearance in last night's game and got a base hit. He lined it off the glove of Ryan Webb, and it struck Webb on the side of the face, and Webb stayed in the game. Paredes got a pinch single out of it. He can swing the bat, and if you see similarities to Robinson Cano, it's natural. He works with the same hitting instructor in the Dominican Republic, Luis Mercedes. And he's been working with Mercedes since 2012.
Who works with Robinson Cano, and he looks just like him.
There's a drive deep to left. This ball is up, and gone. Welcome to the Blue Jays.
Well, you can never have too many good hitters, and the Blue Jays found one from the Baltimore Orioles. They expose him to the waiver wire. The Blue Jays say we need some more offense. They go out there, pick up Jimmy Paredes, and he pays dividends right away. Singled last night, and that'll make you feel welcome.
His third career home run here at Rogers Center, his first as a Blue Jay.
Watch his hands. Watch how quickly his hands take it right to the baseball. And he keeps that bat right on a level playing field. That's how you drive the ball the other way.
Kevin Pillar, ball on the strike.
Not a whole lot of movement and just a weight shift where he went back and then his hands came flying through that strike zone.
Pillar loops it down the right side. Long run for Souza. That is a foul ball. Boy, Paredes rocked back on that back leg just like a fighter would load up with that right punch, get everything going back, and then he explodes through that hitting zone.
Everything went together, didn't it? The swing would bring him forward. In the hand, I mean, he took it right to the baseball. So you don't have to. Watch him. In the front leg, doesn't move. Pick it up, weight shift. See ya. Slide uppercut to get the ball up into the air.
It's just his 16th career home run. He hit 10 home runs last year with the Orioles. Pillar reached for it and taps it back to the mound. But the Blue Jays jump out in front. Jimmy Paredes, playing in his first game at third base, connects. Pitch up and away. He drives it over the wall and left. 1-0 Blue Jays.
You know, Aaron Sanchez is a big supporter of the Jays Care Rookie League program, a program that uses the game of baseball as a foundation to teach children the importance of teamwork, cooperation, and self-esteem. Now, Sanchez told me he had a very similar upbringing as many of the kids in the program. He says it's a great escape from some of the hardships these kids may be going through in life. He told me he's very happy and proud to be a positive role model for them. Now, tonight's starter, R.A. Dickey, is another big supporter who gives generously to the foundation year after year. And Jose Batista donates to Jays Care through the Batista Family Education Fund. He has elected to display his famous bat flip bat in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, Buck, for everyone to enjoy.
And you can bet all those people that go through the Jays Care Community Clubhouse are anxious to see that bat because they loved it. We all loved it, given the circumstances and what it meant for the Blue Jays. Good of him to show that in an opportunity, in a place where a lot of people have the opportunity to see it. Leadoff man Brendan Guyer takes one down and away. Popped up, middle of the diamond. Paredes, the third baseman, takes charge and makes this catch. One down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. It does sound like it's flying out of that yard, and of course Seattle off to a good start. The Orioles as well. As Pat mentioned earlier, that's gloved by Tulowitzki. He might have got a knuckleball off the bat of Taylor Motter.
The way he went after it, it certainly looked like he was fighting it. Motter, where does he hit this one? Off the end of the bat. That'll generate. Watch the reaction from Tulowitzki as he pulls that one out of the air.
In fact, it had a little spin, took it away from Tulo, but he stayed with it. 2 down. Evan Longoria, he got a hit his first time up. That extends his hit streak to 7 straight games. Longoria is one of 10 players that has hit at least 15 home runs in every season since his first season, 2008. Very consistent player. And the list of those 10 players is a virtual who's who of baseball. Justin Upton, Albert Pujols, David Ortiz, Mike Napoli, Brian McCann, Torrey Hunter, Adrian Gonzalez, Miguel Cabrera, and Jay Bruce. No problem for R.A. Dickey this time. Just 8 pitches, and the Rays are retired in order.
Talking a lot about the big ticket items for the auction tonight, and that's all great, but we have something at every price level, like the fan pack, which is perfect for Jays fans. We have one at $75 or $125, and these are a few of the items that you could receive in your fan pack: a tote, some mitts. You know, we've had a long winter. You need those mitts even in the spring sometimes. A hat, some laces, mini bats, lots of great stuff in either of those fan packs. And you can also make a donation if you call the number on your screen or go online. Buck, Pat.
Thank you very much, Ivanka. And we want you all to call in, make note of the phone number online, and log on to help out the Sportsnet Jays Care Broadcast Auction. Lots of great items up for bid, and we want to make sure that you have an opportunity. Goins pulls it foul. The broadcast auction will end 7 minutes after the final out of the 7th inning, so don't get shut out. There's a great trip to Chicago on your very own private plane to join the Blue Jays on a road trip and watch the White Sox. 6 tickets to each game, June 24th and 25th. And you know what? Chicago's the baseball center of the world right now, with the Cubs and the White Sox both playing very well. And the Blue Jays go in there and play late in June, so you can have a private plane fly down to Chicago and get 3 hotel rooms for 6 people. Sounds like a great trip.
You get to watch the White Sox. Maybe you'll see Chris Sale, and maybe, if you're really lucky, the Cubs could be in town, or it could be at the end of a homestand for the White Sox. and you can stick around and go to Wrigley Field and watch the Cubs.
Goins fouls it back.
There's been a couple of times when I've been in Chicago doing a Jays game with the White Sox and the Cubs play in the afternoon.
That is quite an event when you can have both of those teams in town. I'm just checking now, and the Cubs happen to be in Miami that weekend.
What if you stick around for after?
I don't know if the plane would wait for you.
If you get a chance to watch the Cubs in person, you might just rent a car and just drive home.
Three-two count. Josh Thole, the number 9 hitter, waits on deck. Goins trying to get something going. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead thanks to Jimmy Paredes in his first Blue Jay home run. Goins takes ball 4, pitch outside.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Wow. Very, very cool. Looks like chalk artwork on a sidewalk somewhere. Beautifully done.
Incredible. Might be a bunt play right here for the Blue Jays.
Thole grounds it. Morrison is going to have to scramble to get to the bag, and he does in time. It might as well have been a bunt. It moves Goins into scoring position.
Worked as well as a bunt play right there. Leadoff walk to the number 8 hitter. So Josh Thole took a long look down there at third base, coach Louis Rivera. But if not for that play right there by Morrison, you're talking first and third, nobody out.
Now they started the runner, so that made it easy for Goins to get to second. Morrison knocked it down and retired Thole. So Blue Jays have a runner in scoring position for Michael Saunders. Saunders grounded out to the shortstop, Taylor Matter, who was playing him up the middle as he is right now. Liberal strike zone right there. That ball looked like it might have been off the plate outside. Ball on the strike. Saunders with 12 RBIs on the season, batting .313 at the start of play. He's dropped down 3 points with a ground out his first time up.
What about taking one shot right here? Hit a ground ball to the shortstop. He's not there. He got a huge hole on the left side of the infield. Watching his stride, the way he's going after the ball suggested he's taking a shot there on that 1-1 pitch.
Staying away, playing right into Saunders' hand if he chooses to stay on that outside pitch.
Yeah, normally when you see 3 guys on the right side of an infield to a left-handed batter, they're going to pitch him inside, make him pull that ball into that shift. The last couple of pitchers have been away.
This is popped up. Longoria, long run over on the warning track. He's got room and makes the catch. Saunders retired. Josh Donaldson not in the starting lineup tonight. And according to the acting manager, DeMarlo Hale, it was just a scheduled off day.
He said there's going to be 2 or 3 more of those during the rest of the season. The guy plays every inning of every game. He didn't even come out today for batting practice. Just a day off. Yes, he is available today if they need him later in the ball game or if they need him for defense.
Jose Bautista. Jose grounded out sharply to the third baseman, and Pat, we're seeing the bat flying a little bit quicker through the zone from Bautista lately.
Yeah, started seeing it in Texas. They've asked him to get on that plate and try and yank the ball, and he's starting to do that. I think in Texas had 3 doubles in that 3-game series against the Rangers. We saw the home run last night against Chris Archer to dead center field, and I got a chance to watch him in batting practice today. Now they're not even going to let him swing. The bat is starting to speed up.
So Bautista draws the intentional walk. Fans here at Rogers Center not too happy about that. For Bautista, that's his first intentional walk of the season. The Blue Jays have only been issued 3 coming into this game. Donaldson was walked intensely. Smoke has taken an intentional walk. And Tulowitzki. So they rattle Edwin's cage a little bit here.
I guess after they fell behind Jose, they didn't want to risk making a mistake. They're going to start with a clean slate and Edwin.
Neither Bautista or Encarnacion has had much success against Jake Odorizzi. Bautista is now 1 for 18. Edwin is 2 for 20 against Odorizzi. So I guess you could say they're due.
They're due. Odorizzi's got great stuff. Told you he's been winless because they just can't score many runs, but he's got a very good earned run average at 3.8. He's a power pitcher. But these hitters, Bautista and Encarnacion, I think the harder you throw it, the better they like it.
Good cut on that fastball. Ball on the strike. This is the 3rd time the Blue Jays have faced Odorizzi this season. This is his 9th career start against the Blue Jays. So they know all about him.
His first start that he had against the Blue Jays was right here. And you know who he's matched up against? R.A. Dickey.
Back in 2013. Fouled straight back. You notice the BlueJays.com broadcast auction. You can log on and check out the prices of the various items up for bid. A 3D session with Kevin Pillar, part of the packages available. 3D selfie session. It's up to $3,000. You'll both be flying through the air in center field.
Do you get a cape? Huh?
You got to get a cape.
Put a cape on.
There's also a session to have your own Nikes personalized with Marcus Stroman. It's a pretty interesting auction item. Ultimate Nike ID experience, $2,900. Strike 3 call. Encarnacion caught looking. First strikeout of the ball game for Odorizzi. It's still a 1-0 game. Here comes the Ultimate Cleanup Crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough on-grind cleaning products.
shoulders with the world's greatest athletes, and maybe Britney Spears. Yeah, how about an ESPY Awards getaway? Return airfare to Los Angeles, 2 nights accommodation, and you get to go to the award show. Right now, current bid is $2,100. That is a steal of a deal. Ben Affleck even?
Well, obviously, Ivanka, that's a terrific item, man. It's hard to get tickets to the ESPYs, and certainly with the opportunity to get round-trip airfare for 2 from July 12th to 14th, 2 nights accommodations, and 2 tickets to the 2016 ESPY Awards. I mean, that is literally a who's who of the sporting world.
If you are into sports, that's the place to be, isn't it? Ground zero right there.
Steven Souza Jr. Now remember, we got graduation coming up. There's probably going to be a lot of weddings this summer. If you need a gift, you've got a lot of opportunities right here on the Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction. And you don't have to go shopping.
Just pick up the phone. Call the gals out there in the WestJet flight deck. They'll take care of you.
Souza bounces it toward third. Paredes has it. Throws on the run in time. 1 down.
You know, Buck, R.A. Dickey is always tinkering. He's always working on ways to come up with something different. Did you see what he did in that last pitch against Steven Souza? Watch him freeze. He's going to get ready. Now he just freezes. Let's see. Should I throw the knuckleball? Should I throw it? Yeah, let's go with that knuckleball one more time. Those types of things really distract hitters.
It's becoming more and more prominent around baseball. Pitchers are watching hitters, and there's so many hitters that have timing mechanisms. They're all using different weapons to distract them, and this ball's hit a ton. Logan Morrison has just hit his first home run of the season, and that was a no-doubter. He knew immediately, dropped his head and began to sprint around the bases.
Well, this is the hitter that they traded for right here. The guy that was going to play some first base day in and day out and come up with some big hits, home runs, RBIs, and maybe he's starting to break out of it in this series. Knuckleball, that one just tumbles towards home plate, and Morrison's always been a good low ball hitter. He went down and got that one.
That's the 56th home run the Rays have hit this season. Baltimore, Mark Trumbo hit a home run tonight, as did Matt Wieters, so they are still 1 ahead of Tampa Bay for the major league lead in home runs.
Those were back-to-back. Trumbo and Wieters, 7th time that they have done that, but Logan Morrison is on the board this year with a home run.
Desmond Jennings. The Rays have scored 154 runs now. 84 of those have come in via the home run. So they are really leaning on the long ball.
That's what I mean about mission accomplished. That's what they wanted to do this winter, to try and put some more home run hitters into that lineup. They've got pitching. The defense, they've sorted that out. They're starting to play better defense. Now the home runs starting to come.
Inside, it's a full count to Desmond Jennings. Kevin Kiermaier, strikeout victim, his first time up, waits on deck. There's a deep drive to left, and Jennings has gone back-to-back. For Desmond Jennings, that's his 9th career home run here at Rogers Center. His 40th hit. His 3rd home run of the season has given Tampa Bay the lead.
315 career hitter in this ballpark coming into this game. He's got a fielder's choice and now a home run. That knuckleball looked like they wanted that one down and away, and it stayed up in the middle of the plate. Tumbler up and in. And Jennings homers to left field. He had a home run here in the 9th inning in the first game. Does it again.
This is his 9th career home run at Rogers Center. and his 19th RBI. For comparison's sake, the most home runs he's hit outside of Tropicana Field. 9 here at Rogers Center, 4 at Baltimore and at Yankee Stadium. Smoke will go to the bag and retire Kiermaier. 2 down. Tampa Bay has hit 2 home runs here tonight. First time they've gone back-to-back, and that gives them 30 home runs in the month of May, 2 more than the red-hot Boston Red Sox.
Everybody knows how hot the Red Sox are. There are the Orioles right there with 22, but it's the Tampa Bay Rays on top. 30 home runs. What do we have? 13 more days in this month? 12 or 13? I don't even know what day it is.
It gets like that, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Bouncing ball. Smoke takes the fair ball. He'll go to the bag, and Congress retired to end the inning. But the Rays hit back-to-back home runs for the first time this season and take a 2-1 lead.
Sprott Foundation, big supporters of the Jays Care Foundation. So Juliana, first of all, what is the Sprott Foundation?
So the Sprott Foundation is our private family foundation. It's comprised of my mom, my dad, my sister, and we have an arm's length member. And we address homelessness and hunger in the GTA and also across Canada.
There are so many charities that you can be donating and supporting. So why the Rookie League program and why Jays Care?
Yeah. Well, we were absolutely delighted to partner with Jays Care because it's a very innovative program, and we wanted to provide at-risk youth the opportunity to have really healthy, fresh food when they're learning about baseball.
Thank you so much for your support and all the Sprott Foundation does, Juliana. Buck, Pat, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ivanka, and thanks to the Sprott Foundation. That is a terrific gesture to partner up with the Blue Jays and Jays Care Foundation. Blue Jays are playing catch-up once again, Tampa Bay, with their 7th home run of this 3-game series. Used to be the other way around, Pat.
Used to be the Blue Jays knocking the ball out of the ballpark, and Tampa Bay manufacturing runs. Not this series.
Justin Smoke tapped back to the mound his first time up. There's that good splitter, 85 miles an hour in the bottom drop down.
Throws it with great arm speed, just like a fastball, but he just splits his index finger and his middle finger.
The Rays are trying to sweep the Blue Jays for the first time since July 19th through the 21st, 2013. It's a 2-1 ball game. The Blue Jays have just one hit. Smoke takes the leadoff walk. That's 3 walks issued by Odorizzi, 1 intentional.
You know, the Tampa Bay Rays, it's just been a tough matchup for the Blue Jays over the years. They've only won 1 season series versus the Rays. That was in 2014 in 9 years. 1 in 9 years. A little lopsided.
Troy Tulowitzki hit one hard to center field, but it was caught on the warning track by Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier was the Gold Glove center fielder a year ago. He was also awarded the Platinum Glove, which recognizes the best defensive player in the American League.
He came up a few years ago, really an unknown, didn't he? Make the playoff roster, and they put him in defensive positions as a rookie.
Yeah, he came
Playoffs.
up, I think, and he played right at the end of the season as a defensive replacement, and then made the playoff roster as a defensive replacement. I mean, that shows you how good a defender he is.
And it shows you how important defense is. He gets great jumps on the ball. He's got a fantastic arm, but he doesn't have any outfield assists this year, and I think that's because people know how strong his arm is. It's accurate and it's strong.
He had 15 outfield assists a year ago, so nobody's running against him. 2-0 to Troy Tulowitzki. Down and away for a strike. Blue Jays have just one hit. Came off the bat of Jimmy Paredes, an opposite field home run into second. Blue Jays haven't had to worry too much about pitches inside. The right-handed hitters have seen everything away.
Through the first 3 innings, he's hit his spots. Now he's got the lead. He's become very defensive once again.
Up and away. Back-to-back walks here in the fourth.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Jim Hickey in his 10th season as the pitching coach for the Rays. You can see he's talking both to the catcher Conger and to the pitcher Odorizzi. Logan Morrison, the first baseman, very interested in this conversation as he peers over the shoulder of Hickey. Nobody out.
Might go something like, we can't defend the ball if you walk these guys, and now you have, right after we have taken the lead, you have put the first 2 runners on, and the only guy who has hurt you tonight strolls to the plate.
And you walk the 2 guys ahead of him, so you can't pitch around him. Jimmy Paredes. He is 2 for 2 as a Blue Jay, batting 1,000, leading the world in hitting. And a pinch hit single last night, homered in his first at bat tonight. You just never know where you might get a boost from. Paredes wasn't in on anybody's mind except the front office, obviously. They kept their eye on the waiver wire. He became available, and they claimed him on Monday from the Baltimore Orioles.
And the thought was, okay, we'll put him on our bench, maybe strengthen our bench.
Bouncing ball off home plate. That kicks foul.
And he's shown that he can hit major league pitching. He can play second base. He can play third base. When I asked John Gibbons about his plans on how he was going to use it, he said, well, not real sure right now what we're going to do. He's going to come off of our bench. Well, he came off the bench yesterday and stung the ball for a base hit. So he will get the start tonight. He's already helped out with a home run.
He has played in the major leagues with Houston and 9 games with Kansas City in 14, and spent a year and a half with the Orioles. He was originally signed by the New York Yankees as a non-drafted free agent in July of 2006. And then he was traded by Houston along with Mark Melanson for Lance Berkman. Ground ball. Beckham looked at second. He'll go to first, and Paredes hit it hard. Grounds out to the second baseman, moves the runners up.
Tampa Bay was in that shift mode, if you will, with 3 infielders on the right side. Any ground ball on the right side, that was going to be an interesting double play attempt. Taylor Motter, watch him at the top of your screen, watch him shift over into second base, and Beckham thinks, you know what, that's a long throw. I better get the out over at first base.
A long throw back against your body with the shortstop moving in the opposite direction. A lot could go wrong. He made the right play. Kevin Pillar tapped back to the mound. His first time up. Odorizzi calls Conger out to the mound. Dana Evelyn loosening up. He was pitched in both of these first 2 games of this series.
That might be just to get out of this inning. There's a couple of left-handers coming up. Goins, Tolley, and Saunders. Kevin Cash might be playing this inning by inning tonight, trying to sweep the Blue Jays.
Odorizzi threw 97 pitches in 4 innings in his last start against Oakland. He's thrown 68 so far. He's pitching in the 4th with 1 out. Pillar hits it on the ground. Smoke has to hold his ground at 3rd. There are 2 outs. Pillar has grounded out twice. Now it's up to Ryan Goins to cash in with 2 outs.
Blue Jays have had their opportunities over the last week or so. Runners on base, runners in scoring position. They just have not been able to get him in. That's where they were so good last year. Even sacrifice flies. They led the American League in sacrifice flies last year. There was a chance for one right there.
Ryan Goins batting with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Smoke and Tulowitzki both walked to start the inning. Paredes hit a sharp ground ball to 2nd. He was thrown out at first. The runners moved up. Now Pillar has grounded out. Goins batting 158 with runners in scoring position. 3 for 19 for the season.
Right back through the middle. There's a huge hole right back through the middle.
2 balls and a strike. Blue Jays trail it 2-1. Tampa Bay got back-to-back home runs in the top half of the 4th. Blue Jays trying to answer back here in the bottom half.
Here's the hole I was talking about. Tim Beckham, the second baseman, is playing deep and really pulled against Ryan Goins. You can hit one right where that umpire is standing. That's Mike Winters, the crew chief.
Popped up. Beckham backing up into the outfield. Well, the Blue Jays waste a golden opportunity. Back-to-back walks to start the inning. They strand a pair. 2-1 Tampa Bay. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Fans Auction Night continues here at Rogers Center, and we wanted to let you know that last year, Jays Care facilitated a summer baseball program for youth called Rookie League in First Nations. The program uses baseball to teach First Nations youth all about teamwork, dedication, and resiliency, all valuable life skills that can be used to overcome the substantial issues facing their communities. Now, last year, over 120 First Nations youth participated in a tournament in Kenora, Ontario, and this year's tournament takes place in Camp Manitou outside of Winnipeg at the end of August. And Buck, you have expressed a personal interest in this program.
I sure have, Hazel May, having been raised in a family of Native Americans in California, and I met a bunch of Native Americans that were here at Rogers Center on Monday night. And the RBI program is really a big part of their community, where they can play baseball and learn teamwork. Bautista, that's over his head off the warning track. Beckham is headed for second, and he will get there with a slide. Tim Beckham with the double to start things off, his second double of the season. But the First Nations program has really benefited from Jays Care Foundation, and the RBI program specifically, is they have outfitted them with baseball equipment, opportunities to play baseball, and they've had a lot of tournaments that involve First Nation children, and it's a great way to get them involved in sports and athletics.
RBI baseball does a lot, doesn't it? Spectacular.
It's a great program, and reviving baseball in the inner city also. Right here in Toronto, RBI program has done a great job. Jays Care with the Rookie League, and Chris Archer, of course, the youngster with the Tampa Bay Rays. He was visiting children today in a suite here, talking about their future, not only in athletics, but just pursuing their education and following their dreams. Brandon Geyer fouls that one off the catcher. Tampa Bay with a 2-1 lead. They've out-hit the Blue Jays 5-1 so far. R.A. Dickey victimized by the long ball once again in the fourth inning. Back-to-back one-out home runs. First time the Rays have gone back-to-back with homers this season. But that's the lot of a knuckleball pitcher. If that thing just rotates and doesn't really float up there, you can give up some fly balls. This is a pop-up. Tulowitzki, the shortstop, right on the edge of the dirt. One out. Let's check in with Ivanka.
Well, we are more than halfway to our goal. We're hoping to raise, well, over $300,000 tonight for the Jays Care Foundation. If you want to make a donation, please do so. You can do that by calling the number. How about the fan packs? We're already sold out of the $125 fan packs, but there are still some at the price of $75. So bids are coming in, calls are coming in. Keep them coming. Buck?
Let's get to work on that broadcast experience. A chance to come up here and say hi to Pat and I, and get down the TV truck, and then you get to sit with Ivanka and Ken Reed and watch a ball game. You can't beat it. A lot of the Sportsnet celebrities are answering the phone, so give us a call. You never know who you might get on the other end.
That might be the best one right there. Come up here.
Oh, we think it's the best one.
Get to sit where we get to sit every night and watch a ball game.
Of course, there are great opportunities in all of those packages. An interesting trip to the ESPYs out in California, round-trip airfare accommodations, tickets to the ESPY Awards. And that is a star-studded event, not only in the sports world, but in the celebrity world as well. Tanamata strikes out. 2 down after the leadoff double.
They've got to be able to save this run right here. A double to lead off the inning. A couple of hot hitters coming up. R.A. Dickey is one batter away from getting out of this one. Knuckleball. And Motter, who hit in all 9 slots of the batting order last year in the minor leagues, foul tips that one into the glove.
Evan Longoria, 1 for 2. Longoria has always been tough on the Blue Jays. He just has the ability to come up with big hits. And it's a situation where he hasn't had an awful lot of protection in the lineup. Longoria has extended his personal hit streak to 7 straight. And he's driven in 90 runs against the Blue Jays.
You know, that's why I was tinkering with the idea as he's hitting here.
Paredes quickly throws and throws past Smoke. A run's going to come in as the ball is up the baseline and Smoke couldn't come up with it. It was a low throw, which should be an infield hit for Longoria.
And that's what I was saying. You got first base open. Do you want to pitch to Longoria, the experienced hitter who has put up those great numbers against the Blue Jays? Or would you rather face Steven Souza? Tough play for Paredes. He is playing back. Makes the catch, but then the throw pulls Smoke off the bag. Probably be charged with an error, and that will score the run.
Snared by Smoke. It is an infield hit for Longoria and an error to Paredes. Allows Beckham to score. The line drive to first base ends the inning, but Tampa Bay has taken the lead. Souza hit it hard, but right to the first baseman.
Memory lane. There are 2 items where you can achieve that. Meet and greet with some legendary Jays pitchers. Also attend a game, get some bobbleheads. Or if golfing is your thing, you get the opportunity to golf with, again, some Blue Jays alumni. And I know, Buck, golfing is right up your alley. So this might be something you're interested in.
Absolutely, Ivanka. It sounds like a great opportunity for some fans to meet some former Blue Jays and play around the golf. Josh Thole takes a ball on the first pitch. Now it's even at 1-1. One and two. Blue Jays trail 3-1. Thole rolls over on that pitch away. Josh grounded out to the first baseman on a hit and run in the third. They started Goins at first, and he hit it right to Logan Morrison. He had only one play, and that was to go to bag at first. Thole strikes out, second strikeout for Odorizzi.
The all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
Back to the top of the order. On the fielder Michael Saunders takes a first pitch strike.
I think it's time to start doing something different now. If you're the Blue Jay hitters, maybe go the other way, maybe drop down a bunt, try something different. They haven't had any luck against the Tampa Bay Rays this series hitting.
Haven't been able to get anything going at all. When you look at the Drew Smyly started game 1, Chris Archer game 2. There's a drive. That'll get it going. Michael Saunders with his 6th home run, a no-doubter.
Did he wait on that curveball or what? Last time up, there was a runner at third base, and he popped up on a high fastball. Odorizzi kept pumping him high fastballs about letter high, and he popped out to Evan Longoria. This time, after 2 high fastballs, he throws him that curveball, lollipop right over the middle of the plate, and he waited back on that ball and then exploded onto it. Watch him almost double clutch, stay back, hands back, sees it. See ya. That's how you hit a curveball.
The 4th home run Saunders has hit against Tampa Bay this season. A couple of cutters to Bautista off the plate.
It'll make up for that pop-up. You see how his hands recognizes that ball, stays back just a little bit longer, and then it speeds it up, catches that ball out in front.
Bautista tried to check his swing and fouled off that high pitch.
We're getting a chance to see Michael Saunders play every day. He's got his health. He's got his legs underneath him now. We're starting to see the real Michael Saunders this year. He's got some pop in that bat.
Bautista hits this one to center, but that's going to hang up for Kiermaier. Might have hit it toward the end of the bat. 2 down here in the 5th. Bullpen is up for Tampa Bay, and they have a theory from their analytical department that you don't want your starter to face a lineup 3 times. 3rd time Saunders saw Odorizzi, he went deep, and there's Erasmo Ramirez. He's been invaluable for this team.
They've got the perfect guy in Erasmo Ramirez to pick up one of these starters who can only go 5 innings. He can give you multiple. He can give you 3 or even 4 innings out of that bullpen. He has been invaluable, like you say. He has been piggybacking, if you will, Jake Odorizzi this year.
He is 6-1 in 16 appearances. He only made 1 start. Off the end of the bat, Beckham backs up and throws to first. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays cut into the lead. A 1-out home run off the bat of Michael Saunders. It comes on a slow breaking ball, a swing, picturesque home run. Home run number 6 for Saunders.
Up in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse tonight are folks from Toronto Community Housing. For 29 years, Jays Care has run its Rookie League in partnership with Toronto Community Housing. Rookie League is Jays Care's signature baseball for development program, improving the life skills and physical health of marginalized children, as well as enhancing their employment skills and positive self-identity. In fact, just last year alone, over 8,000 children and youth participated in 99 Rookie League programs across Canada. And Buck, earlier today, Stroman and the Rays' Chris Archer was there visiting with everybody in the clubhouse.
That's pretty awesome. And Stroman and Archer are very good friends, and they had a chance to share some time with some great kids.
Give back, right? Give back to remember where you came from. Those two do it better than anybody.
Logan Morrison, he has been a red-hot hitter since coming to Toronto. He had a single in his only at-bat on Monday. Ended the game defensively, got a base hit in the 8th inning. Had 2 hits in the game last night. He's got 2 so far tonight.
How about that look? Check swing on a high knuckleball, and he's got a battle now. 0-2.
3-2 Tampa Bay with the lead. Dickey using that quick pitch for the first time tonight.
We were talking in between innings about R.A. Dickey not using that quick pitch, and that's something that he came up with on a throwing session when the ball club was out in San Francisco. Started using that quick pitch, trying to mess up the timing of the hitters. There was another one where he hesitated just a little bit. Josh Tolley was telling me in Texas he really likes when R.A. speeds up his delivery like that, because he says the knuckleball, he gets a little lazy with his hand when he's got the high leg kick, and you start getting into the 6th and 7th inning. What that speed up delivery does, it speeds up his arm, and it gets his arm back on top of the ball and throws the ball out in front.
Misses with that one, down and in. It's a full count to Logan Morrison leading off the 6th.
Makes a lot of sense too, and he used it in Texas and was superb.
3 hits over 8 innings of shutout ball against the Rangers. Line drive into center. Pilar is going to play this one on a hop. Little soft liner, leadoff single. Let's check in with Ivanka Osmak.
Well, Buck, apparently everyone wants to go to Chicago, the Windy City, this summer and take in the J Series against the White Sox, because that is the most popular bid, $14,000. I'm sure it doesn't hurt, of course, that you're flying private to the Windy City, which is pretty nice, and then you get a one-night's accommodation for 6 people. So again, this is the top bid right now, $14 grand, but you still have time to get your bid in.
It is a great trip going to Chicago and get a hotel accommodation, 2 ball games. And you fly down there on a private plane. That's a pretty awesome trip to
Jerseys,
one of the great cities in North America.
Jerseys and hats too at the ball game. No wonder. Said you're going to stay on the Magnificent Mile. Did I read that right there?
Yes. And it's a great time of the year in Chicago. June 24th and 25th. Chance to go down and see the Blue Jays take on the White Sox at U.S. Cellular Field. 6 personalized Blue Jays jerseys and baseball hats. Private round-trip airfare, courtesy of Private Air. And you get to stay on the Magnificent Mile.
You were talking about bachelor parties as Joe Biagini starts to warm up. How about that for a bachelor party?
That would be a terrific bachelor party. Take you and your 5 pals down to Chicago. Ball game, little shopping, little nightlife, and some great food. Two balls and 2 strikes, nobody out. We're in the 6th. You saw Joe Biagini loosening up for the Blue Jays. Oh, that was close. Smoke says he wants to look at it. Justin Smoke slapped a quick tag on Logan Morrison.
Logan Morrison, excuse me, Buck, got one further step from that previous time. And here comes DeMarlo Hale. Let's see what he's going to do. He's asking to wait, but he got a little bit bigger lead. I think R.A. Dickey picked up on that. He had a quick throw.
Wow, that looked like he may have tagged him before he got to the base. And they're going to give it a look. Good tag by Smoke. Boy, that's tough to tell. His hand was behind Smoke's leg on that view. But the Blue Jays have asked for the replay review.
You know, we were talking earlier tonight about R.A. Dickey and his ability to hold runners over at first base and sense when they take a bigger lead or they might be going, and then fire the ball over there quickly.
This replay review is powered by Samsung.
They have to show Smoke touching him before he gets to the base. And on that one, it looked like it stopped and his glove was on his elbow and he hadn't touched the base yet.
Yeah, his fingers were still in the air, which suggested he had made contact with the base.
Yeah, that one shot we just had right there, I think it was behind first base, the high first base. It looked like Smoke's glove was touching his arm and his fingers were still in the air before they got to the base.
Mike Winters is the crew chief and he signals safe.
Right there.
So obviously not enough evidence to overturn the call on the field. Two to Desmond Jennings, and he strikes out. That's the first out of the inning. Time now for the schedule ahead, brought to you by WestJet. The Blue Jays will jump on a plane and fly after this ball game to Minnesota, take on the Twins, a 4-game series Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday afternoon. They'll go to New York, enjoy an off day on Monday, and then take on the Yankees, first time in New York for a 3-game series before coming back to meet up with the Boston Red Sox. There's another deep drive to right. Kevin Kiermaier has hit a ball into the second deck. A 2-run home run for Kiermaier, his 5th of the season. 3rd home run of the night for Tampa Bay.
Earlier this year, we were watching Kevin Kiermaier hit, and we were talking about this guy. There's more into his game than what we have seen so far. He came into this game hitting .239, which shows that there's some pop in that bat. Another high knuckleball from R.A. Dickey. This one stayed up, and Kiermaier, look at that flat level swing. Puts that into the second deck. That is 3 home runs tonight by Tampa Bay.
4 of their 5 runs coming on the home run. The other came on an error by Jimmy Paredes, the 3rd baseman. Pete Walker checking on the status of Joe Biagini down in the bullpen. 5-2 Tampa Bay.
They are getting the pitch to hit, and they're not missing it. Kiermaier with number 5.
This is popped up. Paredes, the lone defender on the 3rd base side of second, gets there, makes the catch near the 3rd base bag. It's the 2nd out of the inning.
All smiles in the Tampa Bay Ray dugout.
8 home runs in this series the Rays have hit against the Blue Jays. 4 in game 1, 5 last night, and 3 more here tonight, including back-to-back home runs in the 4th. First time they've gone back-to-back this season.
It was a tough week last week for the Rays. They lost some tough, heartbreaking losses, and Kevin Cash was talking after the game on Monday that win that they had against the Blue Jays really relieved his clubhouse. They've been loose this whole series now. Playing loose with nothing to lose.
Had 42 hits in 3 games. That'll get you loose. Fly ball down the right side. It's going to slice out of play into the seats. Blue Jays starters have gone through their first rough patch all season long. Coming into this game, the last 4 starts, the rotation has had an 11 earned run average. But like I said, it's the first hiccup they have had all season. They've been great.
What did we call it last night? A correction?
Like the stock market. Just a little bit of a correction, but hopefully they'll get back on track.
You know, they've been the rock of this team so far the first 5-6 weeks of this season. They have been consistent.
This is hit in the air to right. Bautista backs up. Beckham's retired, but another home run for Tampa Bay. A 2-run homer by Kevin Kiermaier has given the Rays a 5-2 lead. Erasmo Ramirez coming in.
Baseball game, but let's talk some hockey for just a few seconds. Think about this. You and a guest fly to Calgary, stay in Calgary for a couple nights, go to a Flames game, sit in the president's seat, and then, meet the president of hockey operations, Brian Burke, that night. It's going for $4,000 right now. And if I remember correctly, Buck, Brian Burke had his name down on some of the items last year. Haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, he sure did. That's a terrific auction item. Round trip economy airfare for 2 to Calgary, courtesy of WestJet. 2 nights accommodations in Calgary. You and your guest will be guests of Brian Burke, president of hockey operations for the Calgary Flames, on a mutually agreed upon date. Terrific. This is Erasmo Ramirez on in the 6th.
16 games already this year. 6-1 with a 176 earned run average out of the bullpen. Last season was his first year with the Rays. Really his first full season in the major leagues. He's had career highs in 27 starts. He also had 11 wins last year. But he's been moved to the bullpen for these types of games. When a starter gets knocked out early or he's only able to finish 5 innings, Erasmo Ramirez will come in. He leads the major leagues with 25 relief innings already this season.
Justin Smoak goes after that first pitch. Smoak, former teammate of Ramirez when they were both in Seattle. And Ramirez has been a real find for Tampa Bay. He's a swing guy. He can start for you, obviously. But he is 6-1 pitching out of the bullpen.
You know, he doesn't do anything where you say, wow. but he comes in, he throws strikes. He is averaging 13 pitches per inning, the fewest in the major leagues. He just comes right after you with that sinker slider repertoire. Just boom, here it is. Let me see what you can do with it.
The Rays are encouraged by the progress of some of their injured pitchers. Brad Boxberger, their closer, more than likely, barring any setbacks, will join the team near the end of this month.
Wouldn't that be a shot in the arm for Tampa Bay?
Johnny Venters, too, is coming back, and Venters has had 3 Tommy John surgeries, and he's throwing 96 right now. And he would be a welcome addition to Jim Hickey's bullpen, a left-hander that throws 96.
And they're not the only 2. There's a couple of other pitchers that they're waiting for to come back.
Chase Whitley, a right-hander, formerly of the Yankees, and former Blue Jay Neil Wagner. Tulowitzki fouls it back. Plus the fact they're going to get Alex Cobb back. So they are really looking at a boatload of pitchers coming back off the DL to really bolster up this pitching staff. And the way they're scoring runs right now, that has to be awfully encouraging to Tampa Bay.
It's a long season. You need a lot of pitching. They come and they go. They get injured. They get sent down. But you're right. They've got it stacked up now if they stay healthy.
Drew Smiley pitched on Monday. Chris Archer pitched last night. You saw Matt Andriese sitting at the end of the bench. He has gotten off to a great start to his season. He's coming off his first professional complete game shutout last time out against Oakland. Off the plate, 1-2.
I remember right at the end of spring training, Ramirez, they thought he was going to be penciled in the starting rotation. And it was a tough decision for the Tampa Bay Rays brass. What should we do with this guy? But they put him in the bullpen and said, you know what, you're going to cover the guys when they get knocked out. What a find he has been.
Only twice in their last 14 games has a Rays starter gone at least 7 innings. Both of those have come from Andriese in his first 2 starts of the season. You continue to see the auction items on the bottom of your screen. Current bid for the 3D selfie session with Pilar is at $4,500. Don't get shut out. The auction ends 10 minutes after the end of the 7th inning. Blue Jay, great opportunity to meet some of the former great Blue Jays. Current bid is $3,100. Ultimate Nike ID experience, that is with Marcus Stroman. Chance to get some personalized IDs, Nike shoes. Current bid $4,000. Troy Tulowitzki. You could hear Tulowitzki's objection to that pitch. Marty Foster rings him up.
You know, this has happened a couple of times this week already with Troy Tulowitzki, and I think he's got a beef. There are a couple of pitches already that have been down in this homestand, on this homestand. Troy can't believe it. He thought that one was under the strike zone according to pitch effects. That number 7 right there. It's a hard sinker from Ramirez. Watch where Conger catches the ball. I'm sorry, but that's
low. No question about it. Watch the ball where it passes, and that is right in the middle of his shin when it crosses the front edge of the plate. That's the ball. Tulowitzki called out on strikes, and he's been rung up far too many times.
Yes, I think by my count on this homestand alone, that's 3 times that he has been rung up on fastballs down. He's got to be saying, I've been in this game for 10 years. I know what the strike zone is, and that was not a strike.
Jimmy Paredes homered in his first at bat tonight. One of 2 Blue Jay home runs. They only have 2 hits. There's a drive to left. Desmond Jennings was shaded in that direction, and he runs it down. Erasmo Ramirez, a couple of strikeouts as he retires the side in order.
Comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests of TD. And if you're flying to catch a ball game, book a WestJet Plus fare. It's more than a seat, it's a premium experience for a smart price. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. That is the WestJet flight deck. That's where the auction is taking place for the Ivanka Osmat. Blue Jays playing catch-up. It'll be a new pitcher on for the Jays, the big right-hander Joe Biagini, making his 11th appearance in relief of R.A. Dickey.
Tampa Bay Rays have already seen Joe Biagini in this series. Joe came in on Monday after Jay happened. Dustin Antolin pitched 4 innings. Joe got 2 innings himself. A couple of innings, nothing across, and a strikeout. While we were away, that is the home plate umpire, Marty Foster, after the foul ball. He's been attended to by the 2 trainers.
Yeah, both trainers out to check with Marty Foster, and obviously the 2 ball clubs are responsible for the well-being of the umpires, as they don't have their own trainer, obviously. So both George Poulos and the Rays trainer are out to check with Marty Foster, and I'm sure they're examining him for the possibility of a concussion after a foul tip. He took this shot right at the edge of the mask. You can see how that rocked him pretty good. He got hit earlier in the chest as well on a similar foul ball. And the umpires now wearing that chest protector underneath their shirt. Years ago, umpires had that big balloon protector, and it was a much more protective device. Yeah, it wasn't so good looking, but man, it really protected you. You could get behind the whole balloon umpire chest protector.
And the only thing that was exposed was your face, and
Yeah.
you had the face mask.
Yeah, it had a little cutout for your chin, and you put it right up against your chin, and it was a big inflatable chest protector. And I don't know if they're going to let Marty Foster continue. I think they're going to try to figure out how they can make this happen, as Marty is looking at the lineup card, and the crew chief is Mike Winters, but I'm sure this is more in the hands of the 2 trainers about whether or not Marty Foster should continue, but it looks like he's going to stay in the game. Obviously, the concussion protocol is very important to players and to umpires, and we have learned so much more about it than we knew several years ago.
Even something as harmless as that, what we just saw, that foul tip off the face mask, can jar your head.
Of course, the great movie by Will Smith, Concussion, talking about the concussion issue in the NFL, and now baseball has become much more aware of it also. Brandon Guyer has gone 0 for 3 so far in this ball game. He leads off the 7th.
I just looked up at Tulo after that call. That pitch was called a ball, and Tulo can't believe it. That was the same pitch that he just got rung up on.
Brandon Guyer, 1 ball and no strikes. Fouls this one off. Troy Tulowitzki is a very intense player, but he's very calm and very professional about the way he plays the game. Takes a lot of pride in his game, and you can see he's agitated.
Yeah.
And he's rightly agitated. He's had a lot of calls go against him.
He's got a front row seat for that last pitch. Pitch tracker says it might have caught the outside corner. And as soon as that ball was called off the plate, he stood up, took his hat off, looked around, and you could read his thought bubble above his head saying, I thought that was a strike. It was last inning.
Guyer fouls it off. You and I have both talked to the crew that operates the pitch tracker, and we have talked about the technology. And what baseball does is they get every batter at the start of the season, and they get that batter in their normal stance, and they create that strike zone according to the individual batters. And then they replicate that over and over again, so there's an entire library of hitters.
So what you see on the right-hand side of your screen is the strike zone for Brandon Guyer. It changes with every hitter that steps into that batter's box.
But we have seen pitches from the side that are reflected as strikes that are clearly balls, and so it's not 100% accurate. It's a characterization of the strike zone more than anything. Inside, Guyer fights it off. We are in the 7th. Tampa Bay looking to sweep the Blue Jays. They have a 5-2 lead. R.A. Dickey started. He's out of the game. Breaking ball blocked by Tole. It's a full count to Guyer.
You know, that's one pitch that has been pretty impressive from Joe Biagini, that overhand curveball. You got to respect his fastball. It's a low 90s fastball with good movement. But what I've been impressed with is his curveball. He can really spin one up there.
Tulowitzki spears that soft liner off the bat of Brandon Guyer. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Jackie Bradley Jr. has 7 home runs, as does Mookie Betts. Bradley Jr. has 32 RBIs and Betts has 28. Red Sox are killing it. Kansas City won the opener of that rescheduled doubleheader. They got rained out 2 nights ago, and they played a doubleheader. Rained out last night and played a doubleheader, day-night doubleheader today in Kansas City.
They got some hitters in that lineup, young hitters. Why is it that the Boston Red Sox always seem to come up with good young hitters?
Consistent scouting and development. But they have Betts, Bogarts, Shaw, Rutledge, Jackie Bradley Jr., Christian Vasquez, all homegrown.
Homegrown.
Brock Holt.
Travis Shaw in there?
Yeah. Paredes, the third baseman, calls off Josh Tole. Let's check in with Ivanka Osmak.
Buck, we are running out of time. The auction closes 10 minutes after the last out in this inning, in the 7th. Those numbers, they're going up. Windy City, still 15,000, still the most popular one. So call now. There are lovely people waiting to answer your call and take your bid. Call the number on your screen.
Let's go. We got a ways to go to hit that goal of 300,000, and you can call one of the fine on-air personalities at Sportsnet. Make your auction bid. Get on the field and have that game here at Rogers Center. You can bring 20 players to play a baseball game. Great auction item. Jesse Barfield and Lloyd Mosby will be the managers in that baseball game. Chance to go to Chicago, see the Blue Jays play the White Sox for 2 games.
Just thinking out loud here, if it's an older group that bids on that, can it be softball?
I would imagine you can do whatever you want. It's your field, I would think.
You can play hardball or softball. What do you think?
I think they want to come and play hardball and see if they can hit it out of the yard. Longoria off the end of the bat, knocked down by Biagini. He has time, and Joe Biagini has a clean inning. Top of the 7th. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Remember, the auction ends 10 minutes after the bottom half of this inning.
Jose Bautista Golf Tournament, the Russell Martin Poker Classic, and the Josh Donaldson Baseball Bowling Tournament, they're sold out. They're must-attend events this summer, but they're sold out. So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to bid on the VIP experience. That's what you can do to get in. The only way at this point, pretty much, that you can be attending these exclusive events. And right now, the highest bid for the VIP experience is $2,600. So again, there is time to bid, and there are still fan packs for $75 left. You can also make a donation. Call the number on your screen. Buck?
Absolutely, and it ends 10 minutes after the end of this half inning, bottom of the 7th, so make sure you don't get shut out. A lot of great auction items up for bid, and make sure you make a call.
You and I played in Jose Bautista's golf tournament last year, and it was A1. If you have a chance to get into that through that VIP experience, you've got to take advantage of it.
Golf tournament, the base bowl, Josh Donaldson's bowling event, and Russell Martin's going to have a poker event. Lots of things going on, so make sure you make a bid, don't get shut out, don't be disappointed, and help out a great cause, the Jays Care Broadcast Auction. Josh Donaldson has that baseball charity bowling event. A lot of players all attend, and you get a chance to be part of that.
The Russell Martin poker tournament sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's going to take place, I believe, right here at Rogers Center. Jose Bautista has a terrific golf outing, and you want to make sure that you get an opportunity to attend that. I believe it's a opportunity to attend the post-golf festivities. Russell Martin's poker tournament. Chance to see some of the ball players, I'm sure.
Last year when we went to Jose's golf tournament, that was right after David Price was acquired. Remember that? And what would you say? Maybe 20 of the 25 guys on the team was there?
Yeah, at least 20. And David Price was front and center.
Front and center, his new team, and he showed up for the golf tournament.
He was actually at the bowling event as well for Josh Donaldson and Russell Martin. First time he's going to have a poker tournament, so make sure you don't get shut out. It all ends this half inning, 10 minutes after the end of the bottom of the 7th.
Well, let's have a long inning, huh?
Let's score some runs and make it a long inning.
Score a bunch of runs so people can call in and make their bids. And the Blue Jays get some runs.
Bottom third of the Blue Jays lineup, Pilar, Goins, and Tole to face Erasmo Ramirez. He had a 1-2-3, bottom of the sixth. Ground ball to Beckham. One down.
Well, that's what Erasmo Ramirez does. He comes right after you with that slinging fastball. It's got a little sink to it, a little bit of a slider. Nothing spectacular, but he's very aggressive.
You know what he does? He throws a lot of strikes.
Tons of them. 8 relief appearances of 2 innings. He's tied for the most in the major leagues. Nothing fancy.
First pitch strike, little movement. Oh, and 2. Erasmo Ramirez, since the start of the 2015 season, has 17 wins. A 3-pitch strikeout. Goins caught looking at that fastball.
And it looks like he's got one of those rubber arms where he can just go out there and just keep pitching. Not a lot of effort, but a lot of savvy and a lot of pitchability. Takes a little something off of that one. It looked like it might have been a changeup, and it freezes Ryan Goins. Erasmo's 3rd strikeout already.
He's retired 5 straight since coming into the game. This is Josh Tole, the catcher. Tole's 0 for 2. As we mentioned, the Blue Jays have just 2 hits, both solo home runs. Jimmy Paredes in the 2nd, Michael Saunders in the 5th. Fly ball to center. Kiermaier is there, and Erasmo Ramirez, a very quick bottom of the 7th. A reminder, you've got 10 minutes left for the close of the Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction. Don't get shut out.
And $300,000 tonight, and we're more than halfway there, so we need your help. Some of the big items: Take the Field, the Windy City going for $16,000, almost $16,000, both of them. There are still fan packs available, the $75 ones. It's a great deal and perfect for every Jays fan. Don't forget, you can also make a donation. We're running out of time, about 8 minutes left till the end of the auction. So again, call, and these lovely ladies and some gentlemen will pick up the phone. Buck?
Couple empty phone lines there. Make sure you make those phones ring before we come to the conclusion of this auction. New pitcher in the ball game is Gavin Floyd after Joe Biagini had a good inning in the 7th.
15th time that we have seen Gavin this year. He's 1-3 with an ERA of 2. He was the tough luck loser on Saturday He was walked off by Drew Stubbs, if you remember that home run on Saturday down in Texas. But other than that, he has been very good for the Blue Jays. Fastball and an outstanding curveball this season.
Cleanup hitter Steven Souza Jr. has gone 0 for 3 so far tonight. He lined out to the first baseman his last time up. The Blue Jays are 9-12 here at Rogers Center this season. Well, that one hurt. That inside fastball fouled right off Souza's left leg.
That hurt all the way up here, didn't it?
It looked like the ball stayed on his foot for a while.
Looked like a sinker from Floyd turns it over. And it looked like it hit his padding, didn't it? He wears a padding over that shoe and that shin guard underneath his pant leg there.
There's a shin guard on that left foot for sure. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tampa Bay 5 runs on 8 hits. Blue Jays 2 runs on 2 hits. 4 of the 5 Rays runs have scored on home runs. They've hit 3 tonight. 8 in this 3-game series. Tampa Bay has now hit 58 home runs for the season.
It's the first time in their history as that ball's hit on the ground.
Tulowitzki from the edge of the dirt, not in time. Souza showing no ill effects from that foul ball off his left foot, beats out the infield hit.
First time in their history that the Rays are leading the major leagues in home runs on this date. Souza's got some power, you know what else he has? He's got some speed too. We saw it in the outfield already in this series, running down some balls, and that time to deep shortstop. Beats it out.
Tampa Bay trying to get to 500. They're a game under at 18-19. Baltimore winning tonight, top of the 7th, up on Seattle 4-2. Boston lost this afternoon, so they are a half game behind the Orioles. Boston is winning in Kansas City in game 2 of that doubleheader, 2-0, but they're in the 4th. The Blue Jays have lost 4 in a row for the 2nd time this season.
The last 2 haven't even been close. Tampa Bay has put it to the Blue Jays, 2nd time in the Rays history that they've won back-to-back games by at least 10 runs. Haven't even been close. It's been a cakewalk so far for Kevin Cash and his staff the first 2 games in this series.
Fly ball to right. Bautista is there. Morrison is retired. First time that Morrison has been retired. He is 3 for 4 now. A couple of singles and a home run. He's driven in 1 and scored 2. He's had a good series.
Yeah, it might be his coming out party finally this year. The Rays are starting to see the type of hitter that they acquired, or they're hoping to acquire. He's put up some good at-bats this series.
Desmond Jennings. There goes the runner Souza. The throw from Tolley is short of the mark. Souza picks up his second stolen base of the season.
You know, you could see that he was anxious to go over there at first base. He got a nice aggressive lead, and as Gavin Floyd held the ball on him, look at him. He's itching to go. And there's the speed once again.
Jennings has homered tonight, his third home run of the season. His 9th career home run here at Rogers Center. Oh, and 2. Just under 2 minutes now before the auction will be closed. Make sure you don't get shut out.
I think you should just do it. I think it's
Make connections to the operators and make a bid before the auction closes. Bouncing ball. Tulowitzki will gather and fire to first. 2 down. Souza goes to third on the ground out. Take the field up to $16,250. Chance to play a ball game right here at Rogers Center. The Windy City trip to Chicago, 16-3. Private jet, accommodations in the Windy City, and 2 ball games to watch the Blue Jays and White Sox. A last minute bid, under a minute. All access experience, $9,500. You can still make a last bid. Broadcast experience, $4,700. Got to kick it up over $5,000, folks. Come on.
Let's go. Get on those phones.
Outside, it's a ball and a strike.
Kiermaier's got outstanding speed. We've been talking about that this whole series. Thought he might try and drop a bunt down or something like that to get that run in from third base. Got to shorten up on the defense.
Breaking ball, strike. The auction is closed. I want to thank everybody for your great support, and Ivanka, I'm sure, will give us the details as they calculate everything. That hit Gavin Floyd. Paredes at third will go to first. Jimmy Paredes stayed with it. Kiermaier is retired. That saves a run. Jimmy Paredes make a nice play. With a runner at third, Kiermaier hits one off the pitcher. The third baseman, Paredes, makes a good throw to retire Kiermaier. Michael Saunders homered his last time up in the 5th. Blue Jays have just 2 hits. Pair of solo home runs. That's it.
Got to get some base runners on.
Erasmo Ramirez has retired all 6 since coming into the game.
3 of them with strikeouts. He's going to be around the plate. So you might want to cut down your swing a little bit. Blue Jays need some base runners.
Ball on a strike. Beckham on the edge of the dirt, throws to first. Saunders is retired. Alex Colomé filling in for the injured Brad Boxberger as the closer for Tampa Bay, starting to slowly get loose.
The way Erasmo Ramirez is making it look easy, why would you take him out? He has come in. It's the first time that we have seen him in this series.
He's retired all 7 batters he's faced. If you're just joining us, Josh Donaldson did not start in this game. He was just given the night off. Popped up behind the mound. Jim Beckham, the second baseman, calls for it. 8 straight set down by Ramirez.
He's a throwback, isn't he? Here it is, boys. Let me see you hit it.
You know what? In 1985, the Blue Jays had a reliever, Dennis Lamp, who pitched in similar situations. He would come in the game, maybe in the 5th inning. If you're down by a run, he'd throw 3 innings. Blue Jays would take the lead. He ended up 11-0.
Similar type of pitcher like Erasmo Ramirez. Sinker slider, throw strikes. Here it is. Let me see you hit it, see what you can do with it.
92, but he's around the plate.
I bet you, as Ramirez lets this one go, I bet you Ramirez isn't as funny as Dennis Lamp. Lampy was one of the funniest guys I've ever been around.
He was very funny, could mimic every player, and would always copy some of the nuances of the players, their stances. This is drilled to center. Way back and gone into the west jet to south. Home run number 8 for Edwin Encarnacion. That snaps a string of 8 straight retired, and it snapped it dramatically.
That is good to see when you're watching Edwin Encarnacion aggressive at the plate, hitting the ball with authority to center field. He's had some good cuts tonight, but had much to show for it. He struck out in the 3rd inning and then grounded out sharply to the second baseman his 3rd time. 4th time, different story. He got all of that one to center.
30 RBIs now for Encarnacion.
That short, compact swing from a power hitter is going to give you these results. Way deep.
3rd solo home run hit by the Blue Jays.
Watch the reaction from Erasmo Ramirez. When you give him up, that's what happens. He knew it.
Two 2-0, fouled off the catcher. Encarnacion, home run number 8, RBI number 30. And he moves up on the leaderboard. He's in the top 10 in RBIs. Robinson Cano leads going into action tonight with 36. David Ortiz 33. Todd Frazier 32.
Blue Jays are 3 for 3 tonight.
3 hits, 3 homers. But they still trail by 2. Justin Smoak 0 for 2 with a walk. 3-1 count. Line drive in the center. That's going to get down and go past Kiermaier all the way to the wall. Smoak is headed for second. Here's the throw. He's in there with a slide. That'll bring the tying run to the plate.
And that's going to bring Kevin Cash out, and he's already signaled to the bullpen that he wants to bring in his closer against Tulowitzki. Maybe he felt that the Blue Jays are starting to time him up. 2 very hard hit balls by the Jays. First by Encarnacion, now Smoak.
Tulowitzki will bat against Colomé when we come back.
In and another fantastic year for the Jays Care broadcast auction. $189,570 was raised tonight. So thank you so much for bidding, for calling in. Obviously the most popular item tonight, that trip to the Windy City, taking a private plane ride down to see the Jays play the White Sox later this summer. So thank you to all buying the fan pack and making your donations. It goes a long way. Buck, Pat.
Thank you very much, Ivanka, and thank you for all your efforts. You did a terrific job again tonight. And thanks to all of those who made bids and contributed to a great cause. Alex Colomé facing Troy Tulowitzki. Tulowitzki represents the tying run. Tulowitzki called out on a borderline pitch his last time up. He came up quickly before the pitching change and had a chat with Marty Foster.
Well, they talk about that last at bat. He's in tough against Colomé. Colomé's got good stuff, hard fastball, good breaking ball. We showed his numbers. He's 9 for 9 in saves. That's one of 3 pitchers in the American League who has not blown a save this year. Zach Britton and Cody Allen, the other 2.
Tulowitzki has a home run against Colomé. Josh Donaldson is on the bench. He did not start in this game. He is loosening up. He's got his elbow pad on and his hitting gloves. Erasmo Ramirez had retired 8 straight before Edwin Encarnacion homered off him, and Smoke followed up with a double. He's out of the game. Ball in the dirt.
Colomé features a good fastball and a power curveball. A little bit different from Erasmo Ramirez, who was, here's my fastball, let's see what you can do with it, sinker slider. This guy's more power, over the top fastball, over the top curveball. So you're going to have to get it started early.
Colomé was the winning pitcher in the 3rd game of the season down in St. Petersburg. In a controversial win, Tampa Bay won it 3-2. Colomé came in the 8th inning, and the Rays scored 2 at the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. And then that's the game that Jose Bautista was called out for interference to end the game. It took a run off the board. Outside. It's a full count.
I thought we had taken the lead in that game against Colomé.
A run was in to tie it.
And then they threw the ball away, and they looked at it one more time, called the double play, took the run off the board, and the Blue Jays lost.
3-2. Full count, 2 outs. Smoke at second. Blue Jays trail by 2. Tulowitzki strikes out. Blue Jays get a run on the home run by Encarnacion. And we'll go to the 9th. Tampa Bay 5-3. The all-new Honda Civic, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
5 days ago, Edwin hit his 7th home run of the season, and this is number 8 right here. It's also his 205th career home run as a Blue Jay. That's 4th all-time. That's 7th past Joe Carter. This one gives him a little breathing space. It's also our drive of the game. I tell you, that's how you hit a home run right there. The no doubt about home run.
And Conger hits one into right field, but Goins is there to throw him out. Let's check in with Ivanka Osmak one more time.
Buck, I have exciting news. We have an update from the auction. 2 of our very generous sponsors stepped up to the plate in a big way, raising the total tonight to $264,000. So that's huge. We thank them very much. And again, everyone contributing and stepping up to the plate in a big way. Now let's hope those Jays numbers can increase this inning.
What a terrific night for a great cause, and we want to thank everybody who made contributions to the Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction. Tim Beckham. Beckham had a double and scored a run in the 5th. Goes around. 0-2.
I have been impressed with Gavin Floyd's work out of the bullpen this year. He was a starter for most of his career. Had a lot of arm injuries. But this move into the bullpen seems to agree with him.
Pretty good pitch, didn't get the call. Gavin Floyd has had Tommy John surgery. He's had shoulder problems. He's broken his elbow twice. He's got screws and plates in his elbow to keep it in place, and he has really done a nice job out of the bullpen.
You know, if you can pitch like this out of the bullpen, 1 inning here, 2 innings there, a long man, whatever, you can pitch for a long time in the big leagues. Gavin's been around a long time. Maybe this is a way to get him some more time in the major leagues.
His breaking ball is very effective. It's a terrific weapon for him. Fastball up the middle. Beckham's thinking about 2, making a big turn around first. Here's the throw from Pilar, and Beckham a hustle double on a base hit to center field. He never stopped and picks up his 2nd double of the ball game.
You know, you can do that on AstroTurf. The Tampa Bay Rays play on the similar type of field down in St. Petersburg. And when you hit a ball that sharply through the infield, you recognize where the center fielder is playing. That is a long way for the center fielder to go. Pick the ball up, throw against his body. Normally a very accurate thrower is Kevin Pilar, but this time it's off by just a little bit. And Beckham, he's thinking 2 right out of the box. Makes that turn, finds another gear, and hustles his way into second base with a double. Good base running.
Very aggressive base running, and the Rays, for a 3rd consecutive game here at Rogers Center, have double-digit hits. They've had 44 hits in 3 days. 17, 17, and 10.
It's a big run out there. Blue Jays got to save that run from scoring. That is Roberto Osuna has gotten up and starting to throw, just getting loose in case they need him. Just now starting to air it out.
Osuna has not pitched in his series. He last pitched on Sunday in Texas. Osuna has appeared in just 17 games. Hasn't had that many opportunities. He is 8 for 9 in save opportunities, but Blue Jays haven't had too many chances.
Tell you, keep your eye on Tim Beckham out there at second base. He is measuring Gavin Floyd. Gavin's got that high leg kick, and Beckham's got some speed.
Brandon Guyer, the leadoff hitter, is 0 for 4 so far. It bounces in front of home, and Tola doesn't know where it is, and here comes Beckham, and he's going to score all the way from second on the wild pitch. Beckham's speed really playing in this 9th inning. That's a huge run for Tampa Bay.
It's huge for Tampa Bay, and it's huge for the Blue Jays not keeping it on the board. You could just tell Beckham was very anxious out there at second base, and when this curveball goes in the dirt and gets by Josh Tolley, he has no idea where the ball is. Gavin was trying to tell him where that ball was, but Beckham never hesitated around third base. He was thinking about scoring as soon as that ball went back to the backstop. Take a look at Beckham. Very anxious. Straight into third base. How about this turn? See him running with his head up? He saw where that ball was. He saw where Josh Tolley was, and he scores without a throw.
Heads up base running. He created a run himself with that grounder up the middle. He hustled into second with a double and then scored from second on the wild pitch. 2 outs now after Geyer struck out. Another breaking ball that bounced in front of home. Lefty Chad Gerardo has joined Osuna now. Osuna just standing by. He is loosened up.
Tim Beckham all by himself. He gets 180 feet on the hit, goes from home to second, and then 180 feet on a wild pitch. So we have seen the long ones, home runs, a lot of home runs this series for Tampa Bay, and then the athleticism to score a run.
Beckham scored on an error in the 5th after doubling. Longoria hit a chopper to third. He got an infield hit, and on the error by Paredes, he threw wide of first. Beckham came in to score. Taylor Matter with a check swing taps it to second. That ends the inning, but Tampa Bay gets a big run in the top of the 9th. That extends their lead to 6-3 as the Blue Jays bat in the 9th.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Civic, now available with Turbo, the 2016 North American Car of the Year.
We move to the bottom of the 9th. Jimmy Paredes will start things off for the Blue Jays. He has homered in 3 at-bats, 1 for 3. Alex Colomé came into the ball game with a man at second in a 5-3 game and struck out Troy Tulowitzki to end the bottom of the 8th.
He hasn't blown a save yet this year, but he's had some anxious moments in some of his games, throwing a lot of pitches. You mentioned the Blue Jays had him on the ropes 3rd game of the season. He was able to wiggle off the line, get a couple of runners on right here, bring that tying run to the plate. Remember, they got a home run hitter on that bench tonight.
Josh Donaldson did not start, so he is on the bench.
Locked and loaded.
Ground ball. Beckham right on the edge of the dirt. goes the first one out. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central. Here's Ken Reed and Eric Thomas. Well, the goal, of course, is to split the first 2 games on the road, and they'll try to do that in Cleveland. Kevin Pillar has grounded out 3 times tonight. Blue Jays with 3 runs on 4 hits. All 4 hits have been extra base hits, but they've all come with no one on. 3 solo home runs and a 2-out double. Alex Colomé came in to close out the 8th inning. Inside, it's a ball and 2 strikes to Kevin Pillar. The Blue Jays have been stifled by Rays pitching in this 3-game series. The Blue Jays have scored 7 runs in 3 games, while the Rays have scored 21.
What's new? You're going to be running into good pitching whenever you play the Tampa Bay Rays.
31. I shortchanged the Rays. They scored 31 runs in 3 games, and Pillar strikes out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Two outs. Ryan Goins, the second baseman, trying to keep the Jays alive here in the 9th. Goins chases that breaking ball in the dirt. It's 0-2.
A little bit too long with that swing against Colomé. He's going to supply the power for you. Throws hard. Colomé had an uncle pitch for the Tampa Bay Rays, Jesus Colomé, if you remember him, for 6 seasons. So the Colomé name for Tampa, it's been around for a while.
Colomé has retired all 3 batters he's faced since coming into this game. Make it 4, and Colomé picks up to save his 10th as the Rays sweep the Blue Jays here.